I'm sharing with you 10 tips for those of you that are starting a lawn care business. So this could be people first year in lawn business or maybe early on in lawn care and they're still not having very much success. This is 10 tips that I think can help people. And let me just say this, I've been on YouTube for a long time and I feel like I used to help people a lot on YouTube. I've helped a lot of people. But I feel like in some ways I've gotten away from that, and in this video, hopefully getting back to helping people change their lives by growing a successful lawn care business. These are in no particular order, and I would love to hear from some of you in the comments of what you have to add to the list. Number one tip for the first year in lawn business when you're getting started with lawn care is to survive. I'm not saying the lawn business is that dangerous, I'm not saying like that. What I mean survive is, I mean make it through your first year, okay? I've started 3 lawn care businesses. All 3 times I worked a part-time job until I got my lawn business established. Also, I did things that I don't do anymore, like I might even go on a Saturday in the spring and knock on doors. Sometimes I had to work harder and do things I wasn't necessarily comfortable with to help me get through the first year. And by the second year, usually the business had grown significantly to where I could quit the part-time job and I could focus more on growing my business. Now, if you have money in your bank to kind of fund yourself, then that may be a slight advantage to you not having to do those things, and you can work full-time on growing your successful business. But for me, I needed to make money immediately, and so that's why I did the things I did. The second thing I want to mention in starting a lawn care business is your image, your business image, your logo, the way your decals are on your truck, website things, the way you dress, your personal appearance as far as your shirts and things and colors involved with that. If you use yard signs, all those things are important in casting a business image that doesn't make a bad impression on the customer. Does that mean you're great at lawn care? No, it doesn't. But if you are great at lawn care and you pull up in an old raggedy truck with some stickers on the side of it and your name is just something terrible and your logo looks terrible, then guess what? You put some skepticism in the potential customer's mind before you even do any work for them. So why would you do that? I constantly use the illustration of going into a restaurant, and that restaurant may have great food, but if it's so nasty, then sometimes people don't know how great the food is because the restaurant's so nasty. So take some time, get a decent looking logo, put some effort into the business image so that you at least have an opportunity to sell yourself to that potential customer. The third thing may draw some disagreement from people, but number 3 is diversify yourself. Now let me explain on this, because I'm a big believer in finding one thing that you can do great and sticking with that. Especially as a small business, I don't like the strategy of having that business card that says I do pressure washing, gutter cleaning, mowing grass, all this other and everything else. I don't think that's a great strategy. I think you need to find something, by one piece of equipment, a mower, a trimmer, a blower, whatever, and get out there and start making money. And that's basically what I've done with all my businesses. But once I get established in there and start mowing, I need to diversify. Now, the diversification doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give up mowing grass. But my strategy was, after a while of mowing grass, and actually in my 3rd lawn business, I started spraying lawns. I started doing weed control and fertilization. I found that to be honestly a little bit better opportunity as a way to generate income. It also separated me from a lot of people, because there's way more people mowing grass than there are spraying lawns. And just to be honest, it turned into more money than I was making mowing grass. Now, you don't have to do that. Now, if you want to get into weed control and fertilization, you go to lawncarelife.com. There's courses, documents, all that over there. But you don't have to get into doing that. I was talking to a guy the other day, he said, you know, we've got our landscaping license now, or getting into something like that. And so they're still mowing grass, but they're also adding on some higher profit services and getting into doing sod work, landscape design, little simple landscape installs and things like that. Now, those again are diversified skills that are gonna set you apart from a lot of people, and it may take some time to acquire. Again, don't necessarily have to make you give up mowing grass, but if you find that, like, wow, I'm making way more money doing this, then maybe eventually you do want to move on from mowing grass to have a little specialty that separates you from a lot of the competition. Or some people just mow grass 1 or 2 days a week. That gives them other time to do different things. Or again, if you're trying to scale and go big, then you can have a crew that mows grass and another crew that eventually starts doing other things like landscaping or weed control and fertilization. But what I'm telling you not to do is just going out there mowing $50 yards and just driving around and just taking the winter off because there's no work in the winter kind of thing. I don't think that's a great strategy. It can make a decent living, but it's going to be hard to make that last over the long haul. The fourth thing I would do is to start networking, and that may be on social media, but what I did, I'll just tell you, when I started in weed control and fertilization, I started calling on all the people I could find on Facebook, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them in these Facebook groups that were mowing grass. So here's how I did. I went on a local Facebook groups in my city, and I would just search for the keyword lawn, L-A-W-N. And there would be all these people in the comments that say that I can mow your grass, I can do this, that, and other. Everything had to do with lawn. So I was trying to find all these local lawn people and call on them. And I said, hey, you know, I'm doing weed control and fertilization. Who do you recommend your customers to for weed control and fertilization? Someone like, I don't really have anybody, or oh, I send them to big franchise down the road or whatever. And I said, well, I'm doing weed control. I'm not mowing grass anymore, and I would love to meet you for breakfast or something, or come by and introduce myself, and I would love to eventually be that person you send customers to. And I was surprised at how many of them took me up on the offer, and they started sending me customers. And over time, I built relationships with them, and now when I get calls for mowing, I can send those to those people, and when they get calls for weed control and fertilization, or one of their customers ask for it, they can send them to me. So it's been a great partnership. Now, it's going to be a little bit trickier if you're mowing grass. You don't ask other mowing people for business unless they're, you know, saturated and they don't really want anymore. But you can start calling on the weed control and fertilization companies, because like I said, I run a weed control and fertilization business. I get asked for mowing all the time, and I just looking for somebody to refer that customer to. The fifth thing I'm going to encourage you to do if you start a lawn care business is don't make excuses, okay? Sometimes it can be difficult the first year. Sometimes it'll be difficult the second year. I don't know, it depends. I don't know you, I don't know your market, but please don't sit around and talk about how much competition there is, or there's some low ballers out there, or I don't have the money to start up like other people do, and I had to start with a push mower and all that. You know, just stop saying that to yourself, and stop saying it on social media, stop saying it out loud to anybody. Just let that be your motivation. That's what I would do, because, you know, I talked about earlier, if you have some money in the bank, maybe you don't have to get that part-time job. But you know what? If you don't have money in the bank, that ought to be all the more motivating to you that I am going to keep working to make this thing happen. And it may be tough this first year, but I'm going to do what I got to do to get out there and make it. And if that means work a part-time job, then guess what? Working that part-time job for low money is going to motivate you, hopefully, to establish your lawn business so you can make more money. So keep pressing on. Don't make excuses, and don't start comparing yourself to others and, oh, they had it easy and they live in a better neighborhood than I do and all this. Let it motivate you so that you can keep growing your own business and reaching the goals and dreams that you have hoped for. The sixth thing I would do is get a website. Now you think, oh, Jason, I don't need a website. Word of mouth is so great, and this and that and the other. Well, yeah, word of mouth's great, not when you got 4 customers. Who's going to give you the word of mouth? You got 4 customers. You know, so a website is something, if you're going to be in it long term. Now, if you think I'm going to run a lawn business for 6 months, then I wouldn't worry about it. But if you plan on being in the lawn business, why would you not get a website? I have a company that they give me an affiliate link. It's called Footbridge Media. If you go to footbridgemedia.com and you go down to the very bottom of the homepage on the right side, there's a Lawn Care Life logo. If you click on that link, it's $199 a month, where if you just go to Footbridge Media, it's going to be $249 a month. So for $199 a month, they will build your website, do search engine optimization, and help you get Google reviews. I think that's pretty reasonable. Again, you save $50 a month with my link. Some people pay thousands of dollars up front to have a website built. Nothing wrong with that, but to me, $199 a month is a better deal than paying thousands and then still not getting search engine optimization, have to pay somebody else to do that or figure it out on your own. I get more leads from my website than any other method. I rank well in my local area. I get calls all the time looking for lawn care in my local city. The seventh thing is setting up social media accounts. If you think, well, why do I do that? I don't want to grow up and be a YouTuber and be posting all this Instagram reels and all this. I'm not saying go up and be a YouTuber or an influencer, what do you want to call it. I'm just saying have a channel for your local lawn business. Have an Instagram page, a Facebook page, get reviews on Facebook, Google, and all these things are helping the internet take you more seriously. It's just marketing. It's just pointing people back to your website. It's just building your brand locally and understanding that the internet is where people go to look for lawn care most of the time. So if you got to have a presence on these things and just do simple things like, you know, take a before and after picture and post it on Google under your Google profile or whatever they call that nowadays. Do a short video and post it on Facebook. Just do a before and after picture and post it on Facebook. So I mean, things like that can be helpful in growing your business. and letting the internet know that you're serious about it, and hopefully that's going to help you in your search engine optimization. The eighth thing I would do is I would focus on my route density. Let me explain that. On the first year, I may have to go a little bit wider and just trying to make it again. Go back to point number one, trying to survive. But by year two, as my business grows, I don't want to take a customer on in an area or a neighborhood unless I think there's a potential to get many customers in that area. It doesn't mean that everything has to be within 5 minutes of your house, which would be great. It can be 20 minutes from your house or 30 minutes from your house. Or I told the guy the other day, he said he drives an hour on one day, but when he goes there, he gets $3,000 a day for his work. So I drive 30 minutes on one particular day, area that I work in. But the reason I do is because I got about 80 yards over there, and it can be very profitable. So I don't want to drive 30 minutes for 1 yard, but I'll drive 30 minutes for 80 yards because it's just a 30-minute drive. And then after the drive, they're all close together. Okay, so you don't want just any random yard out there unless you're just starting out. But eventually you want to start developing clusters of people where, yeah, I had to drive 30 minutes, but then I had a whole day's worth of work that was close together. Now, even better than that is I had to drive 2 minutes and I had a whole day's work built together. But don't just think I can drive around and just, random yard here and then drive 15 minutes, random yard here. That's no way to build a business. I wouldn't even take 1 yard on 15 minutes away unless there was an opportunity that I thought I could get 10 to 15 yards in that same area. That's all about efficiency. Number 8 is pricing, and I argue all the time that efficiency is actually more important than pricing. What I mean by that is you can charge somebody $50, but if it's spread out, I'd rather charge $47 and have them close together. Now, better than that is charging $50 and have them close together. So I'm not saying cut your prices just to get them built together. I'm just saying you can charge a high price and not be efficient, and it's not as good. But your pricing is, please don't compete on price. Please don't worry about what your competitors are charging to some degree. I mean, you can't just triple their price and think I'm so much better. But you gotta focus on pricing and making sure that you are at least middle range on your pricing for your market. And if you can get higher than that, get higher than that. But focus on quality and understand that quality customers are willing to pay $5 more than the competition if they trust you and you show up. I tell people all the time, just show up. I mean, if you just show up and communicate and do a decent job, you already separated yourself from a lot of the competition. And the 10th one, and this may be the most important, as you start to lawn business, it may be discouraging, you may need some encouragement, it may be hard work, but listen to this. I personally find one of the biggest challenges is fitting everything else into life. So it's not getting so focused on lawn care that you neglect your family, your hobbies, whatever else you do with your time. For me, relationships are important, my faith's important, things like that. And I don't want to neglect those things because I'm just trying to be the greatest of all time. So I told some people the other day, I was like, if the only thing that mattered in life and what was going to go on my tombstone when I die was greatest lawn person in the world, then okay, let's just get rid of everything else in life and just work on being the greatest lawn person in the world. It's not the truth of how it works. Other things are important, so don't neglect the other things. The lawn business is important. Work hard. You may have to have some long days and long hours, but make sure you don't give up on all the other things important in life just for the sake of having a successful lawn business. I'm Jason Creel. Appreciate you watching. A lot of resources at lawncarelife.com for mowing, weed control, whatever. Mosquito spray and all kind of stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you hadn't done so, and I hope this year's a great year for you in the lawn care business.